Well, I think we're ready to get started for the deep dive this morning. So if you're on, let us know that you're watching. I'm going to try to follow along here if I can get everything pulled up and follow along with everybody on there. You know, it's always so good to start the week off this way. And I have to say, Happy New Year! It's the first deep dive of 2025 that we're doing. And hopefully everybody's had a great break and is rested and back and ready to make some things happen here in 2025. So with that as sort of a backdrop, I'm going to kind of get us going here. Again, let us know. I just have my things pulled up here. Let us know where you're watching from this morning. We didn't get a chance to do the countdown. We got a little snow, if you can see it over my shoulder here. In Richmond, I think a lot of people in the kind of mid-Atlantic area are dealing with some snow this morning, but not too bad there. But listen, we're going to talk about a couple of things this morning. If you saw the video that I recorded, I'm going to run through quickly some of the 2025 projections. If you don't have those, I'm going to give those to you. Then we're going to talk about, really how to create momentum in this market. I think this is a time right now, and really the first sort of complete week here of January, to start thinking about creating momentum that takes us into the spring market and throughout the year as we go forward. So, see folks there. Scott, see you there in Destin. Williamsburg, see you there. Joanne, great to see you. Kathy, great to see you. Donna, Columbus State Buckeyes, Ohio State Buckeyes. Sorry, I do have on my University of Georgia shirt this morning. Shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs that gave it their best shot. But Autumn, see you there in Canton, and Jill and Maria, grateful for everybody joining the deep dive. So good to start off the year with everybody and everybody that's always supported the deep dive. Grateful for it. If you're a KCM member, you can go in and download these slides, use them in presentations, use them for anything that you have coming up. Obviously, if you're a KCM member, you're doing that, maybe recording Real Talk videos and posting things like that. But John, great to see you from Northern Michigan. Eddie in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So good to see everybody. Valerie, great to see you from the Jersey Shore. Good to have you on. Jan, see you there in the Philippines. All right, that's good. Richard in Florida. We got folks from all over the country joining right now in the deep dive, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we get started talking about really, I think the summation of this is, how do you unlock opportunity right now? I'll tell you, I'm going to talk about what forecasters are saying about this year. I don't see anybody right now saying that we're going to blow the doors off of a lot of things in real estate, but I do believe there's an optimistic perspective that I'm going to share with you here in just a minute on what's ahead for this year. But if you're new to the deep dive and maybe new to joining or have done it for the last several years that we've done it, I want to remind everybody that we do it for this reason right here. It really, if you were to ask me, it's why KCM exists. And it's with this fundamental belief that most agents out in the world and out in the market know what's happening. And good agents understand it. They understand what's happening, but only great agents can explain what's happening. And listen, I believe in 2025, great agents will win. This is sort of separation season. Okay, this is the year that great agents will make a mark in the business. There are a lot of people that will struggle, no doubt, but I do believe there's opportunity. And what I want to run through real quick as we start off this deep dive, and if you've been on the deep dive before, you've seen this. So it's a reminder. If you haven't, it'll be the first time seeing it. But what are experts saying about prices? What are they saying about mortgage rates? What are they saying about home sales? And give you that real quick. Well, we'll start right here. The 2025 home price forecast. You see all of these forecasters right here that we're watching at Keeping Current Matters, and others are watching, and what you see is a very normal, I'm going to call historically normal outlook for home prices. Now, it's an interesting time right now in our business, and I saw a post this weekend folks looking at it going, do you think it's going to be more than this? Do you think it's going to be less than this? A lot of speculation about this, but here's the important thing. I don't see anybody calling for prices to crash in this country. Matter of fact, if you follow KCM on Instagram, we posted, what is a appreciation in a home worth over the next 5 years from the home price expectation survey. And you take some of this and, people wonder, should I buy a home right now? What's going to happen with prices? I think it helps people make an informed decision. But that's the look at what forecasters are saying about 2025 home prices. Okay. Very normal, very historically average is what I would say. What about mortgage rates? A lot of questions right here and a lot of speculation. These are a look at a wide range of folks that forecast mortgage rates. What do I see? I see the majority saying we're going to be somewhere in the low sixes by the end of the year. Now that's going to be dependent upon a lot of things, by inflation, how sticky it is, by maybe what happens with tariffs and some new policies. I think it's going to depend on the path of this economy and unemployment, all the things that are forward looking. Nobody has a crystal ball on that. Oh, by the way. Okay. But what the consensus, what I see experts saying is we'll be in a better situation with mortgage rates in the next year than we are today. Okay, that's what I see. So historically normal and average price appreciation, better environment for mortgage rates. And lastly, total home sales, this is new and existing home sales, are forecasted to rise in the coming year. Not blowing the doors off like 2020 or 2021, but rising over the last year. I believe we'll look at 2024 as sort of the trough in transactions in this market sort of cycle. So here's my challenge to you. I told you I don't see anybody saying, hey, we're going to go blow the doors off in real estate right now, but I do believe there's an optimistic perspective that we'll see average price appreciation, better mortgage rate scenario, and we'll sell more homes. But my challenge to you is we sit here. I'm watching comments. If you have questions too, you can certainly add those in. I'll try to take those. Kristen, see you there. Snowy Northern Virginia, snowy here in Richmond as well. But I'll take those questions. But my question for you right now is, what do you believe about the year ahead? What do you believe? And you can even drop it in the comments right here. Do you believe, are you optimistic about the year? Are you, a lot of people coming out of 2024, they're like, gosh, it's a tough market. And it was. What do you believe about the year ahead? I believe right now is going to be a time to create opportunity and build for the coming year. As we look ahead, there are a couple of things that I would say, and I made a couple of notes. I didn't include all of these slides in the deep dive this morning, but NAR forecast an 8% drop in agents in the coming year. And I think Valerie, see you there, optimistic, better than 2024. I agree. And Craig as well. See you there. NAR forecast an 8% drop in the number of agents. Now, honestly, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think we see a dramatic drop in 2024 in the number of licensed agents. There's a lot of things floating around about 47% of agents didn't do a transaction, and that's correct, and that's very typical and normal for any year in real estate. But if there are fewer agents plus more sales, that's an opportunity for you, right? If that does become true. And what's the best way to take advantage of that? Well, it's understanding what do buyers and sellers struggle with? What do they want from you? Every year, and our KCM research team does such a good job of looking at, what's being published out there and gleaning all the insights of it. But NAR every year publishes the, home buyer and seller insights, a profile of what buyers and sellers are actually saying. And I think you have to understand that. And even, I know we've got a lot of our KCM crew on the deep dive this morning watching, and shout out to everybody on the KCM crew that's watching. But even us creating real talk scripts and you creating videos to say, hey, here's what buyers across the country and buyers that I'm working with most want from an agent. Here's what I'm doing for them. And let's look at that real quick. So they asked the question, what are the most difficult steps of the home buying process? For all buyers, and in the green there is first-time home buyers, finding the right property. All the things that come with the process and paperwork, big issue. Saving for down payment, big issue for first-time home buyers. Putting content out in the market and talking about that, I believe, is critically important right now. But that's what people are saying. That's the most difficult process in home buying right now, right? The appraisal, down payments, getting a mortgage, all the things that go with it. So understanding that and saying, hey, here's how I'm helping guide my clients forward. A lot of times I'll reference Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand. Your job in this process is to be the guide and make your buyers and your sellers and anybody looking to transact the hero, right? I'm going to guide you through the process, and you're going to be able to accomplish the dream that you want to accomplish. NAR said inside that profile, young home buyers are more likely to say that one of the most difficult steps in the home buying process, behind finding a property and saving for the down payment, is understanding the real estate process and the steps they need to take to buy a home. So what do we need to do? We need to put content out there and talk about, okay, here are the steps it takes right now to sell a home, to buy a home. Here's what I'm seeing happening right here in our local market relative to that. So what do buyers want from an agent? Number one thing, overwhelmingly, all buyers, first-time home buyers, help finding the right home to purchase. I think of your message on the front of the year is, I am helping people right now find the right home. Even in some of the forecasts that are happening right now in the first quarter, I believe there is an opportunity that's forming for buyers, right? Interest rates being a little bit stubborn, transaction volume slower, that means there will be a buy opportunity for folks. But you see this across the bottom, if you can see the slide, help negotiating the terms of the sale, price negotiation, all the miscellaneous transaction paperwork and contracts and all those kinds of things. What buyers want right now is help with all that. What do sellers want? Marketing a home to potential buyers, pricing it right, selling it within their time frame. What changes and fixes need to be made in the home. If I understand what buyers need and what sellers need, then I can deliver on that. Okay. So I think as we started off this year, we talked about, there being an optimistic sort of point of view. Then I understand, what folks are looking for, and I can deliver on that. The third leg of this is, how do I create momentum right now? And I believe in all the data, there's an opportunity that we've talked about. We talked about this in December on the deep dive. I'm going to run through a couple of things. If anybody on here missed it, if you were on there, this is going to be a refresher for you. There's one way to build enormous opportunity and to build momentum at the beginning of this year, and it's expired listings. I talked to Curtis and the team at RedX, and if somebody on your team or somebody you've talked about expired listings needs to hear this, tag them in this live, get their attention and get them on here. And if you're working on expired listings, then drop that in the comments. I would love to hear that. I think that's going to be something that we want to look at and want to talk about. Okay, what's winning in the market right now? But our friends at RedX kind of did a little bit of a study and said, okay, what happened in the first week of 2024, and how can we forecast that to be what's going to happen January right now of 2025. And the bottom line is, there's an expectation that so many listings will be either canceled, expired, withdrawn this week, the first week of 2025, somewhere around 135 to 150,000 listings in this country, because a lot of contracts are written towards the end of the year, way more than what we saw the first week of 2024. And it makes sense, right? As days on market have been growing and transactions sort of following in most markets, that makes sense. So there is this window of opportunity, right, to get out and have an honest conversation with that seller about why their home didn't sell. And if you have a listing that didn't sell, you have to have that conversation, because if not, somebody's coming in right behind you that has nothing to lose. But this window of opportunity is going to last for the next several weeks. This is very interesting. The overall days to relist last year was 53 days. If they relist with a different agent, the average was 80 days. When they relisted with the same agent, it was 41 days, right? And we know there are a lot of process, a lot of thoughts that go into that, where folks are like, we're going to take it off the market. We're not going to fool with this. We're not going to do it anymore. Or, hey, we're going to adjust how we market this house. We're going to do something with the price, all that sort of thing. It's very interesting. If you go back and watch prior deep dives, the one that I did in December about what happens with price, it's very interesting. And there's some pretty, I'm not going to go into it today, but there's some pretty clear measures that you want to take with pricing when dealing with an expired listing. But of the listings that expired, if you remember this, 71% sold after relisting with a new agent. So you have a better probability of selling your home when you relist with a new agent. Okay. So, and I think a lot of that lies in having the conversation that maybe wasn't had on the front end of that. Okay. So if we understand forecast, we understand what people need, we know how to create momentum, then we can create this motion, right? We can create momentum going into the year, which will carry us into the spring market, which will carry us throughout the year. And I believe it'll be a year that will have to create momentum versus it just existing out in the market. I found this, and I'll share it with you before I wrap up here in just a minute. Back in 1687, Sir Isaac Newton published the laws of motion. In that, and we probably all heard it, he stated that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. That's sort of the way to explain that. And listen, in real estate, I believe this is so important right now because there have been a lot of outside forces in the last year. High mortgage rates, transactions, elections, NAR loss, everything bearing down on our business. Here's what I know. If you create momentum, that momentum will stay in motion, will carry you through, because there will be outside forces that will come this year. I'll guarantee you that. But if you're in momentum when those outside forces come, you're much more likely to continue on than if you're not. I was talking to an agent just a couple of weeks ago that had some sort of transaction issues towards the end of the year, but had a lot of momentum in the market, and that they were painful and they were challenging towards the end of the year, but it didn't disrupt their momentum. And this is important, because if they didn't have momentum, it would have probably sort of ended the year poorly and started off the year poorly. But I know this: if you create momentum and you're out in the market, you're talking about what's most important, that will carry into the spring market. I believe expired listings are the way to do that. If you want to be the professional, I want you to do something. I want you to go to trykcm.com. You can start a free trial. You can get everything that we have talked about on here. You can download everything. Go check that out here as you start January off. And if you need content, you need things to share, but go, gosh, I don't know what to share, or I want to save time sharing, or I just want to be the expert and have these conversations with all my buyers and sellers, and go there and start a free trial of KCM. We're going to work hard on the front end of this year to get you started and get momentum in your business, give you everything you need, and look at where the data says momentum will be. And we look forward to it. We're looking forward to 2025. Grateful for everybody that joins the deep dive. Maybe make a note on your calendar, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, mark it on there and commit to starting your week this way. That way, you're filling your brain with things that are happening in the market. I'm always convinced, even if we have new agents that are on the deep dive this morning, if you were just to read the KCM blog, sign up for the deep dive, become a KCM member, you would be quickly one of the most educated agents in your market. So grateful for that. Grateful for all of you joining. Robin, see you there. Best Investment. So grateful for that. Kathy, there is a replay of the deep dive that is inside the member area. So you can go grab that replay, download all the slides, and do all of that. So I'm going to wrap up on that. So many great people there. Tamara, great to see you. Scott, great to see you. So grateful for everybody that joins the deep dive every week and gets their week started this way. So happy 2025. Let's make it a great week, and we'll see you back again next week. Take care.